love how much their hair gets in our stuff. So we feel you.
There's a cup I have and it says everything tastes better with a bit of dog hair in it.
Oh my god.
Welcome back to the Shaken Not Scared podcast. Here with you as always, your hosts Erick and Vivi. Today we're going to be talking about the 2006 film Evil Bong, directed by Charles Band. But before we get into that, how are you, Vivi?
I am excited because we have guests again.
Woo!
We are joined by the Always Room for More podcast. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
I'm the host of Always Room for More, Chris Moore. And with me always is the beautiful Katrina Penny.
Hi, I'm Katrina. And we're here and we're really excited, actually. Like, we always love talking to you guys. So
Yes, it's always fun with Shaken Not Scared.
Likewise, how are you guys doing? What's new over at Always Room for More?
Not a whole lot. Right now we're doing a bit of a hiatus thing. We're just taking our break for a bit, taking some time to refocus some things and get things done in line.
honestly, it's been good, aside from, a couple hiccups, but nothing too major. Nothing we can't get by.
We just had our 2-hour Halloween special like a couple weeks ago on Halloween. So it was time to have a little break for a bit.
Yeah, it's a good idea, especially with the holidays coming up. I think things are only going to get more hectic.
A break sounds like a good idea.
I also work in retail, so Christmas season gets real crazy for me.
Does it really? I have so many questions because I know where you work and that's interesting.
Those are some good gifts.
But that's only one of my jobs. I work 2 retail jobs.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So it gets crazy at both places.
Hey, you got to gift some fun for your significant other.
For the listeners who don't know, Trina works at, would you call it
An adult store.
Yeah,
so
adult
novelty.
yeah.
adult
If you
novelty?
get the picture, it's for sexual health.
Which again would make a great Christmas gift.
Oh, is that a hint?
Hint, hint.
Oh.
No.
Treat yourself. No. You need to treat her too.
How are you, Vivi?
I am good. Work's been not super fun, so I am excited to start drinking. Also, I've never tried Jägermeister before, so I'm a little scared.
When we went to the store and picked it up, I was asking if we should get the giant bottle so that way I could give it to her all tonight. Like we could try some Jaeger bombs. We could try
I
some
was just gonna say Jaeger bombs.
Jaeger Red Bull.
I had those since I was like 19.
Oh my god!
Oh man,
Jaeger bombs on my 18th birthday. Last time I had Jaeger bombs.
you guys are not making me feel any better about this drink.
Well, the good thing is that you're not drinking it straight.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Should be fine.
Jaeger's usually good when it's mixed with something.
That's true. This one's with Midori, but I guess we'll get to
The
that when we
drink
get
portion
there.
in a sec. But how are you?
I'm doing okay. We had barbecue. I would watch Naruto and see Choji eat this most delicious barbecue food off of this grill, and we finally had some today, so I'm pretty much happy.
Cross that off the bucket list.
I love that.
So, do you guys have any creepy content you guys want to talk about?
Have you heard of the game First Class Trouble?
No. What's that about?
It was the PlayStation Plus free game right now for this month. You ever played that game Among Us?
Yes.
It's basically like that with much better graphics. You're like people stuck on a spaceship or a space cruise trying to escape these personoids. 2 people are personoids, and then the rest of the group are just regular people trying to figure out how to get off the ship and get away from the personoids or kill the personoids without getting killed by the personoids.
Oh man, that sounds intense.
Oh yeah.
You'll hear him. He has his headphones on. His mic will be going, and you'll just hear the entire party just screaming at each other. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
A lot of accusing and pointing fingers and people backstabbing. One actually was very funny. I came down the stairs. I was a personoid, so I killed this guy with a syringe thing, and then I walked away. I walked around the corner and came back around. There's another guy looking at the body. I was like, oh, this guy killed the guy. This guy's the guy. Everyone believed me, and we were able to vote that guy out.
I'm seeing a lot more popularity with these kinds of games, even with board games. It makes me think that more and more people are liking to backstab their friends.
It's cathartic.
It's kind of like Clue, but not. I
Yeah.
kind of like that. I also was just saying I want more board games, though. So I don't think I personally have anything that I've consumed that's creepy other than Criminal Minds. I've been doing that nonstop.
That's creepy.
That is pretty creepy.
I mean,
That ventriloquist doll one that you watched where the guy was like breaking bodies and stuffing them in a fucking cardboard.
okay,
not
that
box.
episode freaked me out because I don't really like dolls as it is. And this one serial killer that they caught was turning his victims into live marionettes. He was like dislocating their limbs and hanging them from cords and stuff like that and like reciting a play with them. It was
This is in Criminal Minds.
I hate that so much. I also really hate dolls. So
Right? Yeah. And I'm like, this is an episode of Criminal Minds, and I feel like I'm watching a horror movie right now.
I feel like that writer for that episode watched too much Saw.
possibly.
And yeah, he like had these like doll faces, paper mache to their faces and stuff.
Those shows sometimes have guest writers too, right? So maybe they
Right.
had somebody who just guested that day and was like, I wasn't able to make this a movie.
I'm gonna make it the creepiest TV show ever.
Seriously, some of the episodes get me cringing, and then the other ones are like just tears, just so many tears.
That's like with that other show you watch.
Law and Order.
Yeah.
These TV shows
Yeah,
really
right.
getting creative.
I think Law and Order uses actual headlines too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it uses real life cases. So that's the scarier part.
Yeah, right.
What I've noticed is because I started watching Criminal Minds right from the beginning again, now that I'm getting into the later seasons where it's closer to now, you can see where they've started to update the lingo and stuff like that. Even certain things they start explaining as social media culture, they'll bring it up, and I'm just like, the more relevant it gets to today, the freakier it gets. I'm just like,
Oh no.
But they even like at one point explain what a hashtag is.
Oh, they definitely know their audiences are probably
Adults.
older.
Trying to learn the lingo.
I'm just like, oh gosh. I loved it though.
What about you? What have you been watching?
Me, I've actually been reading The Troop by Craig Davidson, but the book's supposed to be about, and this is from the Amazon description, follows a scout troop on a terrifying fight for survival when they come across a mysterious and deadly stranger in the Canadian wilderness. It gives me like zombie apocalypse vibes, but I don't think that's what's going on. There's supposed to be some like infected thing out in the woods, and I don't like how it started because it makes you think this is just like an innocent group of kids, but I guess that's how Stranger Things works out, so it can be dark. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Well, it started with a bunch of kids.
Yeah, and then it ended in a really weird
It really
way.
did end in a weird way.
Yeah.
The book did at least.
Yes.
Yeah. We don't talk about that, I guess.
Yeah, we don't talk. We just glaze over that part of the book. That and all the racism.
What about you?
I've been watching this. I feel like every week I just come on here and say I've been watching horror movie documentaries, but I've been watching another one, and it's on Shudder this time. It's Behind the Monster. So they analyze a horror movie monster for each episode. I've seen the Halloween one and the Child's Play one. They
Wow.
also have a Candyman episode, but I haven't watched that one yet because we haven't seen the movie, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers.
Is this an analysis in that they try to psychologically describe what the character is thinking, or they go into just like the history and how the character was made?
Yeah, the history and then kind of the impact that they had on culture and why they think these characters are so loved still. So
Okay.
it's kind of just like a fun watch. It's not like super serious.
That gave me an idea for a book, and I'm going to keep it to myself. No, I'm
Oh,
going to say
okay.
it. One of our friends was recently telling us that there's a psychology book that uses references to SpongeBob. And I'm wondering if anyone's done that for horror.
Oh, it's possible. We should look it up.
Interesting.
If they haven't, I'm going to make it. Copyright. Yeah.
Well, you said it here live, so there you go.
Yeah.
It'll be date stamped and everything, dude.
Yeah.
That makes it official.
Cool. Is there anything that you guys have for comfort content since the world's just getting a little bit happier with the holidays around the corner?
It's kind of comfort. It's a Stephen King book, though. You guys have heard of the Dark Tower series?
Yes.
So I'm reading the 5th book, I believe it is, The Wolves of the Calla. I really love the Dark Tower series, and it's not like a really scary book. I don't really find a lot of Stephen King books scary. I know they're supposed to be, but I think it's just I've seen so much worse in horror movies that the images I can gather from what he writes, I'm like, yeah, I guess that's scary, but come on, I've seen some shit on Saw.
Oh yeah. Did you like the movie when it came out?
I didn't watch it because it didn't look like I would have enjoyed it.
He got mad.
Like, I love the actors they chose for the characters. I was like, oh my god, this will be amazing. And then I read what they were doing with the story, and I was like, oh no, they're just gonna bypass all the good shit and just go straight to what people think they want to see.
That sucks. I hate when they do that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. We have a book club with our friends. We're always looking for new stories to read. I think that one would be a good one to
Yeah,
jump
I'd
on.
be interested in checking it out.
It's a long series though.
That's so fun. None of my friends read enough.
Oh.
to have a book club. Like, the only person I know that would read is Christopher. And, like, we tell each other about the books we read anyway. So I mean,
So it's just a smaller book club. Yeah.
so my comfort content, same kind of as my creepy content. I've been just binging Criminal Minds. Like, there's just been no break except for when we watched Evil Bong.
Yeah.
Um,
Had to pry her away from Criminal Minds.
yeah,
to
he had
watch
take the controller away from my hands. Other than that, my usual go-to is Lord of the Rings, and I haven't watched it in a while. The 20th anniversary is coming up, as my lovely partner pointed out to me today. So we're going to watch that soon because that's like my childhood and my favorite series ever. So
what about you? What do you got for comfort?
I just always watch Bob's Burgers. That's what I've been watching lately.
oh, I love that show.
Yeah, I've been watching the new season because I think I've caught up for the most part. I just watch it all the time.
I haven't caught up on the new season yet because I finished what they had originally on Disney. I knew it was still going, so then I moved on to Criminal Minds. Now I've got to finish Criminal Minds before I move on to any of the shows that just recently came out with the seasons.
Makes sense.
We don't have live TV, so I sometimes don't even find out there are new seasons to anything. You know, there's that spin-off series of The Walking Dead called The World Beyond or Beyond World or something like that.
I didn't even know about this.
I saw a promo that was like, final season. I was like, when did it even start?
I'm like that all the time.
Right. I know there's two of The Walking Dead, but I don't even know what this one is.
I have to look up. Like, I'll finish a show and I'll be like, is this still running? I get another season or am I going to be let down?
I hate when shows I love get canceled.
Oh, I hate that too.
So
Right?
much. Yeah. Like,
All
who
the
cares if
Marvel.
no one watched it? I
I'm
wanna watch
watching
it.
this
Don't I count?
I will
about
give
you?
you my entire direct deposit.
just for one more season.
My comfort content's actually also not comforting. It's The Walking Dead. I've been playing the app. I told Vivi I was not going to play it because I hate when games like this, the like build your own town, those kinds of games, you can't have fun because people have already destroyed your town and you come back to just rebuild it. By the time you're wanting to do anything that was fun about the app, you've wasted so much time. So you end up not playing anymore. But this one's been okay. Yeah. So
You literally did the opposite of what you said you were going to do and
Yeah.
kept playing.
yeah, I was like, I'm not playing this past the trial because you know when you start those games, it gives you like a 7-day shield so that no one
Right.
can attack you. The shield ended a couple days ago, and I haven't been destroyed, but I joined a clan, so that could be part of it.
See, that just reminded me that I play Harvest Moon every night before I go to bed. So I guess you could count that as my comfort content.
That
There you
sounds
go.
Because that's
comforting.
just my little farm, just like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now, but I'm just gonna farm for a little bit first.
Some light farming before bed.
Sometimes I'm playing there and I'm just hitting build on my new building or sending a person to go kill a crowd of zombies, and I'm just getting lullabied by the knowledge that my town will be okay at night.
That's cute.
Yeah, Chris has had to take the switch for me a couple times because I've fallen asleep with it in my hands.
All right, we have 2 drinks. Take it away.
Well, I made this shot called the Dirty Bong Water. You're supposed to use melon liqueur, but I didn't have any, couldn't find any, because apparently it's seasonal, I think. So I used blue curacao, I think it's pronounced. I'm not very good.
Cow.
Caraco.
Yeah. Some orange juice layered over top of the curacao, and then Jägermeister layered over top of the orange juice.
I will say it definitely looks like bog water.
Theirs looks cooler.
Yeah, my mom is really good at mixing. I don't know why. Probably because she hung around bars when she was younger, but she's always just been really good at layering shots. And I just, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take a little bit of her skill because we didn't layer it as good.
I was in a hurry, okay?
I think it looks beautiful.
It happens.
Let's try it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's sharp.
Right.
Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
This one had Jaeger?
Yeah, at the top.
Oh, you know what? I taste the aftertaste of Jaeger. Because if you've had Jaeger on its own, it's almost like a medicine shot.
Yeah. It's kind of minty in a way.
Oh, that's what the mint.
Do you taste it?
I've always
Was.
found that Jaeger's a little thick, but maybe that's just
She's a little too thick.
a little too thick.
Yeah, thick with 6 C's.
What do you rate it?
It's not bad. I've definitely had worse shooters. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5.
Sweet. What about you guys?
I usually take really harsh shot drinks like whiskey and stuff like that. So to me, this was very light, just easy to take, you know. So I'm going to say that's a 3.
I feel like
Yeah.
orange juice will fix like a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
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 I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Because you don't like
Yeah, sweeter
orange
things
juice.
are lower on my scale, but it's still good. I like the minty aftertaste.
Not in a bad way, but the minty part and then the orange juice is like when you brush your teeth and then drink orange juice.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that'd be gross.
I was like, oh, wait, that's a bad idea.
Well, if it's any consolation, bong water is not supposed to taste good.
At all. So
This tastes better than bong water. I've accidentally had that happen where it shoots back into your mouth and taking it too strong.
Ugh.
I vomited because of that happening. Yeah, it was bad.
If you're sitting there too high and you're contemplating drinking your actual bong's water,
Don't do it.
this is a better option.
Or get a glass of water.
Yeah.
If you're contemplating drinking your bong water without any sort of dare or prompting, I worry.
It might be an evil bong telling them to do
It's true.
Mhm.
Do you want to talk about the actual cocktail?
Yes, my cocktail that I made up, I tried to find a bong related drink. So I found Dirty Bong, but since the Dirty Bong comes with coconut rum, and I don't like coconut, I fucking hate coconut, so I use Fireball whiskey instead. So that makes it more evil. So it's Evil Bong water now. To make it, you're going to need a half ounce of Southern Comfort, half ounce of Amaretto, half ounce of Blue Caracal, half ounce of the Fireball, half ounce of Spice Rum, half ounce of Raspberry Liqueur, and a half shot of 7-Up.
And this is the one that I smelled, and I'm just like, I don't.
It smells fruity.
It has that like citrusy smell to it. I don't know how to explain it. It almost smells like wine.
Oh, a little
yeah,
bit.
I see
That's
that.
a good
Like
way to describe
cotton
it.
candy wine.
Yeah.
It smells like Christmas.
Cheers.
I love that.
This is some really dirty bong water.
Yeah, it is a very dark purpley shade.
It tastes exactly like what it smells like.
Yes, it's very candy flavored.
I imagine this would be good with ice, like with a giant
Oh,
ice
yeah.
ball.
I mean, we do put ice in our bongs, so I mean,
I wonder if there's like bong cocktail glasses.
I guess you could buy a bong and put cocktails in it.
just be clear when people come over, that is not a bong to be used.
That is the cocktail bong.
I read an article where it's like, if you want to have a tastier hit, to use other things than just water. Like they said, use cranberry juice and it has a more fruitier taste to your weed.
Interesting. Does that work that way?
I mean,
No.
it's just filtering through whatever liquid is in the bottom of the bong.
This is just filtering the smoke through that, like cooling it off, basically.
Cool. What do you guys rate this?
Evil bong water.
Evil bong water, yeah.
This one's very sweet, so I'm gonna give it a 2.5. It's not the worst I've ever had. It's definitely a sipper though. Like you wouldn't want to chug this because you'll probably be messed up.
Yeah, it's got a lot of ingredients.
It
in
has so much alcohol in it.
It's almost like if you had a blue motherfucker, you know how that's like a very sweet
That's a good way
lemonade
to
type drink.
describe it.
I'd give it a 2, but if you're trying to get fucked up, I'd give it a 5.
Yeah, seriously.
Just by smelling it, it smells like a porn star.
Yeah.
The drink, not an actual porn star.
I was like, that is a specific smell.
Very specific.
No. But that's my usual drink of choice when I go to the bar.
Well,
So,
the raspberry liqueur I used was your sourpuss raspberry liqueur stuff.
well, that would do it.
That and blue carousel.
It's half of a porn star.
Then 7-Up makes the porn star.
That's why it smells like a porn star. Okay. Yeah, it tastes like a warmer porn star. Sweaty porn star. Ew.
I'm just gonna keep assuming you're talking about a person.
Yeah.
Again, is that like a Canadian drink or something? Do they not?
Is it the same as a blue motherfucker?
I don't know. What's in a blue motherfucker?
A lot.
It's got vodka, rum, tequila, gin, blue Curaçao, sweet and sour mix, 7-Up. Yeah, so it might be a similar drink.
Just a couple more ingredients.
Just way more hard liquor.
Yeah, really, a motherfucker.
yeah. I used to drink those like crazy. When I
Those
was in
are
college.
definitely your college freshman drinks of you're trying to die.
That's what this is too. The Evil Bong water. It's something you want to get fucked up
I'd
on.
be interested to have that at a party one day.
But hangover from having too many of these would fucking kill you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's why
all
it's
the
even.
sugar.
I'm the sugary drink type person though when I actually do choose to drink. So I'd give it like maybe a 3.
I'll give it a 4. I like it.
Awesome. Well, give it a shot or give it a drink. Since we didn't have too much to go off of for this movie, being from 2006 and sort of like a, what would you say, B, maybe C movie?
Z.
There wasn't too much to look up for fun facts. So
Right.
Tommy Chong was in the film. And I think our friends here at Always Room for More wanted to talk about some Tommy Chong facts.
I don't know if it's well known that he is Canadian. Before he became the big time Tommy Chong, that everyone knows, the big pot smoker, he actually used to run a strip club down in Toronto. So it's like really interesting.
So this is a prequel to him in real life.
Yeah, it makes sense with this movie now.
Right? Yeah.
It's like the movie just suddenly makes sense.
Yeah, it does actually.
Is that all the fun facts we have then?
Yeah, pretty much. There was a lot.
All right, cool. We have the speed run. Chris is going to take that over. You have 1 minute, and if you fail, we have to all take a shot.
Another shot of bong water.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
So there's this nerd who comes to live with these three stoners, and the three stoners are like, oh, we need to get a killer bong for this apartment. So they get a killer bong from this fucking ad in the High Times, and it said that it's haunted bong. So they're like, oh, cool, haunted bong. So they get a bong, and I should have had that drink before this. The bong starts being all sentient and shit, and starts taking them out one by one. And then the smart nerd guy who never smokes weed is like, "Oh my god, it's the bong!" And then he's like, "Oh my god, we gotta do something about it." And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the real owner of the bong shows up. He's like, "I'm gonna destroy this bong," and then they get sucked into the bong through smoke special stuff, and then the original owner is like, "I'm gonna destroy this," and he tries to hammer it, nothing happens. He tries to saw it, nothing happens. He gets sucked into the bong too, because like he's like smelling all the smoke coming from the bong. He's like, BC bud. And then he gets sucked into the bong, and then he's like, "Oh, I got you, bitch!" And he shows like he's got a bomb strapped to him, and he lets it go, and he blows up the whole fucking bong and everything in it.
So
That's pretty good.
if you were done, you won. you hit it like 59.
Oh, he
99.
just made
Yeah.
it. That was pretty good.
Yeah, you were like speeding through that, and then just suddenly decided to give a bunch of details. I was worried for a second.
Well, I had to be told.
Yeah.
Wait, there's the elements that I'm missing.
I guess we don't have to take another shot.
Well, if you want to take one, that's your choice.
You know what? Fuck it.
A little bit of a celebratory shot.
Because we made it.
I didn't think I was gonna do it, so there we go.
Awesome. Well, what does IMDb say?
The overview actually comes from Wikipedia. It says, Evil Bong is a 2006 American stoner horror comedy film directed by Charles Band about a group of stoners who smoke from a sentient, malevolent bong that traps the smoker in the bong world, a surreal realm filled with killer strippers and other full moon creatures.
Full moon creatures, huh?
That's what it calls it.
Talk
There's
about
some weird characters in this bong realm.
I have to say, there were some parts in this movie that I was just like, what am I watching? And the best part was that it was just so low budget. Everything was just like, it was just so bad it was good. I don't know.
I have a question for you guys. Do you think that movie was worse than The Beast of Bray Road, or about similar?
Ooh.
So remember, you guys hated that. Well, not hated, but you guys thought that one was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was bad, but I think that one was bad because we're near Wisconsin and know a lot of Wisconsin tropes
Lore,
and
yeah.
lore that we were like, oh my God.
I think the only thing that probably makes Evil Bong a little better is that it knows its audience and it knows what it's trying to do. I think Beast of Bray Road was trying to be a serious horror movie, and that's where it failed.
Okay, good point.
Special effects wise, I'd say Evil Bong also wins.
Now, I haven't watched the other movie that we're talking about, so if you're telling me that special effects wins in Evil Bong, that's telling me a lot.
Well, do you guys want to dive into it?
Yeah.
So the movie kind of has an entirely TV show vibe. It even does weed transitions.
Like that 70s show.
We said the same
the
thing.
only thing we could think of.
Yeah, I was saying it's like a 90s sitcom. Like, you ever watch Power Rangers, the original Power Rangers?
Yeah.
It had that kind of feeling, like where they have a little kind of like a skit that happens before the show actually begins, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where like something happens, where like a monster shows up or something. So it felt very, very 90s TV show.
Made in
Couldn't-
2006. So
Right. They also couldn't decide on what music they wanted to
Oh my
put down for
God.
the soundtrack because the music was all over the place.
I thought the same. I was like, what the hell? Like, they played like this like happy-go-lucky song when they were tearing down the nerd. Like, the two girls were like busting his balls, but it sounded like all jovial and happy. That doesn't seem like the right time.
It was definitely written by dudes.
For sure.
This trope of the girl who's just super horny and has no personality is definitely of the time. I don't think you'd get away
it's a
with
very
this now.
early 2000s comedy trope. Same thing with the like surfer dude roommate.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
That's the other thing. The stoner characters felt almost as if they weren't stoners. Like, they're just pretending to be stoners to catch stoners.
Like cops.
Because they were using like bro, dude a lot. Like, I don't use that much. I might call someone bro and whatnot, or dude, or hey man. But like
I do.
They're using it like excessively to make me go, I feel like they're putting on a charade here.
Obviously, it wasn't very believable. I liked kind of the exaggerated stoner versions, but Lornell, the entire time he was talking, all I could hear was Randall from Clerks. He just had the exact same tone of voice and like little bit of like that New York accent. So I'm just like, it's Randall if he was super freaking stoned. But yeah, the over exaggeratedness of like the facial expressions were getting me, because I don't know what it is with older movies like that have like that like dead, right, and they like really talk with their tongue behind their teeth, and it's just like, like,
It was way of the times, man.
why?
Yeah, especially Bach, because he was supposed to be the surfer dude impression.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was going
Stoner.
just above and beyond. Yo, what was up with the names? Larnell,
Oh my God.
Alistair, Bach, and who was the fourth guy?
Brent.
The most
Brent, the most
normal
normal?
one.
Yeah, just like the one normal out of all of
I mean, I thought maybe they were trying to like name them after certain things, like Alistair Crowley, maybe.
That's what I thought.
Right, and then Larnell. I don't know who the fuck Larnell would be, but Bach, Beethoven, Bach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it was just like weird because, like, obviously, I think his is like a last name, but
something like that.
So hear me out. This movie, they had no idea how to fill in time. And we're like, look, we need to make a movie about an evil bong. It collects people and kills them inside the bong, but we need this movie to be an hour and 20 minutes minimum. How do we do that? And they just threw in a crap ton of unnecessary story.
Oh, for sure.
get out of our heads. That's exactly how we felt.
What was
I
the
was like,
whole
this
point
movie,
of that storyline?
Just to talk shit. That's it.
The baseball background, Brett giving Alistair these like lectures about not throwing your life away and caring too much about school because one day you're going to get drug tested.
There's a lot of macho man talking throughout this movie. I noticed, like him and his like red meat thing, and picked up on some very definitely early 2000 lingo. You know, when they were talking, the one guy called the other guy queer and stuff like that, and then there's the F-bomb dropped and everything. It was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very homophobic language, which was like, if you go back and watch those movies from the 2000s, it's everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Anything earlier than 2010, you're going to have something like that.
Mhm.
It's either used as a joke or a way to insult someone. This movie I thought was gonna be worse in that
Exactly.
respect
I
because
could-
it started off so bad that I was like, oh man, we're about to hear a lot of like
Problematic
really problematic
stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that got me right off the bat was in the opening scene when he's showing him around the apartment, the audio dub that happens immediately just was like, it doesn't even match. And they're just like, we're just going to pop this in here real quick just to make it work. But it's like the audio changes completely. I'm like, ooh.
I thought you were gonna point out the Jesus smoking a blunt.
That is the
Yeah.
first scene we see after 20 minutes of credits, it feels
Yeah.
like.
Right.
Just names and weed leaves.
We watched it briefly again today, like almost finished it again today, just so we could
Halfway
like
through.
refresh because like we watched it pretty late last night.
While getting high.
Yeah, and I was like, this time I wasn't super paying attention, but it felt like it went a lot faster once you've seen it one time because now you're not like dragging through like, okay, all this. By the time I looked up, I'm like, oh, it's the grandpa scene. Okay.
I wondered if this movie is meant to be seen while you're high, like if it makes it better or not.
I can't say that it improved it, but I haven't watched it sober, so I don't know.
Let me just say that when we first started, she's like, what do you think you're going to give this movie? And I was like, I'll give it a 5. I'll be generous. It's probably going to be a funny stoner movie. I'll give it a 5. 10 minutes in, I'm like, shit, this is a total 2.
There are some gems in there. I still like that the murderous people are women who are killing the patrons at the strip club.
The way they kill them is the part I have a problem with.
Exactly.
Just the gaudy fake Halloween costumes on the boobs, where it's just like,
Dollar store Halloween masks.
yeah, like little Reaper masks. Like, I'm just gonna eat you with my boobs now. It just makes total sense. And the lack of budget because they couldn't make it like animatronic or make anything move. Right? You just see this like
Fisheye lens and glowing.
they're trying to make it look like it's moving, but it's not. It's just oh.
It's
It's
clearly
like-
the actress trying to move
Yeah.
it herself.
Which death was your favorite?
They were all pretty stupid, to be honest.
I kind of like that Brett gets his peen
Chewed off.
chewed off. Those were probably the least cringy ones because like you don't see her trying to like actually make them.
Although I want to say the first one made me laugh the most.
Oh yeah, I was dying.
Because even after he's been killed, Bach's like, I love you.
I made Eric rewind because I was like, did he just say he loves her?
I think it made seeing that he was still alive that much more meaningful just because I was like, oh, so he's still there. He's just vibing now.
The entire rest of the movie.
There was something you said, what the fuck, too?
That little like voodoo doll character maybe that was
Was
like
masturbating.
masturbating.
Yeah, we couldn't figure out if that's what he was doing while Bach is being murdered.
I don't know. We're just like, is he supposed to be like a voodoo doll or like what is that? He's like this little guy with a bone through his nose, but it's like a little puppet.
He's like claymation, right?
These characters that we keep seeing are actually Full Moon production characters from other Full Moon Moon movies. So that little guy is Ooga Booga, I think it is. And he's like a little voodoo doll, like puppet master type ripoff.
Oh, okay.
Right? Ginger
Wow.
Dead Man shows up. Even the little guy in the little hat who like tells Buck to be careful of that one. He's also a character from Full Moon Productions.
That makes more sense. When she said full moon characters, I was thinking like, are these characters that people think come
Like
out during the
cryptids?
full moon? Yeah.
Yeah,
Now that makes
that
sense.
makes sense. The gingerbread man did look super familiar. I'm like, I think there's a movie about him.
Yeah, they're just kind of hoping that you're going to watch the rest of them.
I've always wanted to watch Gingerbread Man or Ginger Dead Man, I guess. Now that we
Whatever it's called. Yeah, I feel like we have to know.
He's even voiced by Gary Busey in the movie. Not the Evil Bong movie, it's the guy who did the puppeteering for him, but in the actual Ginger Dead Man, it's Gary Busey.
Oh wow.
Who else was in this film?
They're named in the beginning credits. It's like special appearance by some guy. I noticed Bill Mosley, obviously Tommy Chong. These characters that were in there as special appearances had no real reason to be there other than that they're patrons of the strip club who possibly died in the past. Is that what we're supposed to
Right.
get?
I'm assuming they smoked on the...
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the point of it, that they smoke from the bong, so they're trapped forever in stripper world or bong world.
Did they also get revived when they blew up the bong?
Oh, maybe.
Good question.
Maybe because you only see Jimbo and the strippers in the final scene together.
And they don't even explain why he stayed there. They're just like, oh, he didn't make it. And that's it. Maybe if you die in the bong world, you can't come back.
That's not true because
Yeah.
the other guys did.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to
find logic
here,
in this movie.
There is none. As we kind of had that thought where it's just like, okay, well, clearly he's in this like afterlife realm where he's not really dead. But what kills me is that like later on in the movie when he wakes up, he's just like, I just woke up in the basement under some trash. And it's just like, they literally just thought he was dead. So they just was like, well, we're going to have a party first. So let's just put him under this trash and make it okay. I lost my shit.
Yeah, these are not the best friends to have.
No, they really are contemplating not calling the police over his dead body because they're having a party. A party, by the way, that ends up being like them and two other chicks.
Yeah.
And not only that, but he's using the fact that he got drug tested as a reason why he can't call the cops. I got kicked off the baseball team. What do you think they're going to do to me next?
I like how much Alistair thought through what was going to happen, though. They were like, the coroner's going to be able to tell that Bach's been dead for several days. And they're like, he's just a pothead, dude. They're not going to blame it on anything but the weed. I was like, that's so unfortunate, but he's not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What I also really liked about Alistair's character was that he never deterred away from the lingo that he was supposed to be using, right? He always kept it extremely smart. He never divulged into being like your typical stoner. He didn't change his character at all to fit in with his crowd that he was now succumbed to. Like, I like that he kind of stayed true to himself, except for at the end when he decides to take a toke, but it's only to be heroic.
Yeah.
Like, he always has good intentions.
The part that was out of character for Alistair, and Janet too, because Janet's supposed to be the smarter of the two girls, is that after Alistair tells her, hey, this guy's dead, Bach's also dead, Janet's like, oh crap, why? He's explaining this whole ridiculous story to her, and she's like, oh, what? And so what
She
do we
has
do?
no reaction.
You're not crazy.
She's
would
like,
think-
makes sense.
Yeah, you're poisoning your friend's weed. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Wouldn't that have been a twist?
Yeah, there you
Like,
go.
it wasn't the bong at all. It was actually him. That would have been a good one.
I would watch that movie.
This is what you get for charging me $40.
And not even looking every time you take money out of my wallet. You're just like, this is mine now.
Yeah.
$40 for some space in a room.
Another
or
$5. Oh, I'm just going to grab this
for a bed.
Which is actually super cheap for a mattress.
Fair enough. I didn't really trust the look of that mattress, though.
That's the sketchy part.
Yeah.
It wasn't like brown.
Yeah, it was not a good quality.
It was multicolors.
I did like some of the themes in the background. I don't know if you guys caught it. The guy who delivers the bong, when for some reason Larnell doesn't remember what he ordered, the delivery guy's name was Rabbit. I thought maybe that was like an Alice in Wonderland reference where he's
White
telling
Rabbit.
Larnell, like, it's the package you've been waiting for. This is the path that you've been wanting to go down. And Larnell's like, it is my package. It is the path I've been wanting to go down.
I feel like they had a lot of ideas for this movie, but they couldn't decide on which avenue they wanted to take. So they just kind of tried to put them all together, and that's where it lost flow.
Even when he brings up the bong, they're talking about how Alice is a new roommate and stuff like that, and how what's his name lost his career as a baseball player, and that he's got money now. And all of a sudden, Larnell just like, check this out, just pulls the fucking High Times magazine out of nowhere. He's like, look, I can afford this bong now. And looking at it, just like fucking random as fuck.
Pulls out the magazine, and the super dramatic dramatic music starts playing, though. He hasn't even said anything yet.
I love the backstory he gives to it because he says it's from the 1960s. It was made in New Orleans and that it's haunted and has potentially killed its previous owner. When they first get it and then start smoking it, it's pretty innocent seeming, but they do say it's like the best high they've ever had. Bach immediately gets addicted to it and is smoking way more often than the rest of the group. As he does this, the bong starts to change in appearance. It starts to light up and glow, but also develop a face, and it is not great.
It would talk and the mouth would
Move once.
incorrectly. Yeah.
There's this one scene in there where they actually do get the eyes to move a little bit, and I'm just like, the entire budget right there.
Yeah.
They look like Furby eyes.
Oh my god, yes.
I honestly thought her facial expressions were going to be more prominent because of the art on the cover of the movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what they wanted you to think.
Yeah, like the quality was very, very low, but if we look at the screenshots and stuff like that you see online, it looks like higher quality. So I don't know if it's just because on Tubi it doesn't have the high HD quality one, because like the entire time you're watching it from the beginning, I'm like, this looks out of focus.
Yeah, looks like a 90s sitcom.
We were like, there's movies from the 80s with better quality than this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you're either out of focus or like the camera was just slightly off focus, or the camera quality was just so low that they couldn't make it adaptable to the screen.
Yeah.
But when you look at like certain shots from the internet, it's really clear. And I'm wondering if like there's an HD version that we just don't have access to, or
the DVD version is probably what they have on Tubi.
I don't know.
Like,
The Tubi version looked like it was recorded on VHS.
yeah.
recorded through a freaking onion.
I even looked at Chris. I'm like, you remember when TV actually used to look like this?
When I look back at TV, I'm like, oh my God, how did we watch this?
Everything's fantastic when you're a kid.
There aren't enough pixels per square inch on my TV, sir. Dad, get a better TV or go home.
I want this to look like it is happening right in front of me right now.
When they take the hit, I want to be high. That's how HD
That's the
needs
quality
to
I'm looking for. We get that random explanation about how Larnell comes from money, which doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the movie.
Well, I think the whole like Larnell coming from money thing, that's another one of those stoner stereotypes. You know, the guy who comes from money, doesn't do anything with his life, just a big stoner, just lives off his parents' wealth and all that stuff.
Drops out of law school.
You know, dropped out of whatever school, all that fun stuff. Just like the surfer guys, the other super stoner stereotype, right? The dude, what? You know, that kind of laid back, real slow kind of guy.
Ashton Kutcher from Dudes, Where's My Car?
And Brett, your typical jock who was a stoner, right? And like kind of was like, you know, I'm a big time jock guy, but I still get fucking high because I party.
Brett is such a asshole. I think he's the one who I hate the most because he's so two-faced. Like you live here with your friends, and then anytime your girlfriend talks crap about them, you're just going in on your friends too.
It's actually kind of funny because like he reminds me of an old friend of I used to have, like an old acquaintance now, really, because he was that kind of guy, of macho tough guy kind of thing, and like, oh, I stick up for my friends, but as soon as his girlfriends come around, I was like, oh, fuck them kind of guys, right? And he's a real kind of like asshole in that sense. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of these main characters are supposed to be likable.
Not even Alistair.
Alistair kind of is.
Kind of.
He's that dork that's just like, you can't really hate because he's very sweet, but you're like,
he seems like the dork that knows too much and is going to constantly tell you like, well, you're doing that wrong because it's actually supposed to be like this, or that's wrong because you're actually, you know, like one of those kind of dorks.
trying to outsmart you.
My favorite part is that he says, no, I'm not going to smoke because it kills brain cells, and then he's chugging a beer. Yeah. And I'm like, huh, interesting choice.
Did you guys notice what beer they were drinking?
Orange label. Kind of look like the Coors Light can, but it has a giant orange fucking like tape or whatever on it.
Vivi was the one who pointed this out, but the KFC bucket in the background had tape on the K, so it was just FC.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
I love that.
I noticed like the game scene, like they can't use Nintendo sounds, right? Because Nintendo would sue. So the game is like a very generic sounding thing. When I was like in my early 20s, I had the exact same setup: a Super Nintendo on top of an Xbox, right next to a fucking old CRTV.
So I found what Vivi said, what the fuck, dude. It's the scene where Luann walks in and is talking crap to Larnell about how he's a washed up loser. And Larnell's like, I'm not a loser. You know why? I'm speaking new language. Try some of this bong and this weed. And he pulls out a giant bag of weed. And she's like, oh my God, yes. And gets on her knees and starts pulling weed out of the bag by the handful.
Because I'm like, she's literally stealing all of his stuff.
I was hella pissed about that, let me tell you. I'm like, oh, girl, I would punch you. Like, you don't, that is, you don't just go in and just handfuls of somebody's weed.
I was like, that's expensive. She's just stealing from him.
So the grandpa again talks about how he's got the smoking hot new girlfriend to Larnell. He's describing her, saying that he met her at a
Racquetball court.
Yeah.
and he's like, when I saw her smacking those balls, like it's super raunchy dialogue. Like he's just going in on how hot this girl is. Larnell says, "When's it my turn?" And his grandpa's like, "I hate you, you bastard."
A super weird dynamic.
That whole scene was only put in there so he could just cuss the crap out of that guy.
The guys are like, "Well, where is she?" He's like, "Oh no, she's on her way. She's just making her way up the stairs." And they're like, "Oh, like why is she taking so long?" This old lady walks into the door with her walker, literally just makes it to the sofa and passes out.
But we have to mention that there are like, this is like that sexy like music, like a bombshell just walked in and stuff like that, and you're expecting like he like got together with one of his friends or something like that. That's what I was expecting. I'm just like, one of those girls is gonna come back in married to his grandpa or something like that, and he's gonna be like, "What the fuck? No, it's just this little old woman."
That would have been a better twist.
I turned to Vivi and was like, "I hope that when I'm old as hell, I will always turn to you and talk about you like that to my friends."
Yes, and please play that music every time I walk into a room with a walker.
That's adorable.
You won't even be walking in; you'll just be passed out on the couch already.
Probably.
Look at her.
She's great. She's asleep. I would say that was probably the one scene that made me actually laugh. Not from like how bad it was. I'm like, okay, that was funny.
So again, Larnell dies, Bach is dead, and I think the last one to die is Brett with Luann after Luann does this weird ass drunk but high dance.
With a pogo stick.
Yes.
For some reason.
The only point of that was to show that she could pogo without any hands.
They made her like, "Do you have any skills?" And she's like, "I can pogo with no hands." Like, it's in the movie.
Man, that one chick, the really, really catty one.
Luann.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because I don't get along with girls very well, but I just wanted to rip her face off the entire time. I'm just like, please tell me she dies.
I was like, is she drunk or high? I was like, this is
that
not
was the
how someone who's
strangest
high
scene in the
acts.
whole movie.
I've been smoking weed for at least about a decade now, and I have never once encountered somebody react to weed that way.
Why did she even bring the pogo?
That was my question.
Look, until she started pogoing on it, I thought she brought a tire pressure pump.
Yeah. Weird. As soon as she started, like, at first it was messed up, but the moment it transitioned to her like chihuahua humping his leg, I was like, what are we watching right now?
When Alistair finally tells Janet, "Hey, everyone's dead, we need to get them out of there," Janet had already taken a hit from the bong. What I thought was funny was when Alistair's alone, immediately Tommy Chong knows where they are, where this bong went,
Walks in,
starts talking about what's happening, how he's got to save them. No explanation. Alistair's like, "I thought you were dead." And Tommy Chong's like, "No, man, it's my wife. She didn't want me to have the bong in the first place, so she made up this whole story."
Yeah, it's just that typical bad divorce that's just, you know, stole all my stuff, man.
No one ever makes it out of there alive, man. It's like, I've been there. I was really hoping they would stop. He's looking at him and goes, "So no one makes it out of there alive, but you've been there and now you're here." And he's like, "Yeah, I know. No one makes it out." It's like, okay.
When Alistair's about to jump in, he's like, "I gotta go in there. I gotta take a hit." And Chong's like, "Here, take these." And he's like, "What are these for?" He's like, "They'll help you get out." He's like, "Well, what are they?" He's like, "I don't know. Vitamins?" He's like, "But they'll help you get out. So just take them."
I'm curious if it was Viagra.
I don't know if it was a Viagra or not, but what I think it is, it's a callback to Up in Smoke when Cheech and Chong are riding the car and Cheech is asking for a mint or something. Chong gives it to him thinking it's like aspirin or something. And he's like, "Oh, wait, don't take that." He's like, "Well," he goes, "Oh, that was like a bunch of acid." Then Cheech starts freaking out.
Have you ever seen those?
No, I haven't actually.
If you want a good stoner movie, watch
Yeah,
those ones.
those are classic stoner movies.
Do they hold up?
Oh, for sure. For us.
I think so. They're probably one of my favorite movies.
Mhm.
We haven't watched it in a bit, but
Ryan, our other co-host back in high school, we'd leave school at lunchtime, go back to his place, get stoned, and then watch those movies like Up in Smoke and then Nice Dreams and next movie. Oh, a bunch of fun times.
That's fun. Do we see Cheech anymore? I haven't seen Cheech Martin in a long time, like in anything.
He does like bit parts here and there.
he does cameos and stuff like that. Like he was in an episode of Grey's Anatomy.
I actually think they
Wow.
do TikToks together now.
Cheech and
Yeah,
Chong?
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, dude, hell yeah.
I could see them like doing a buddy stoner movie in their old age too.
If everything's getting remade, why not that?
No, they had like Jane Silent Bob reboot, so let's get a Cheech and Chong reboot.
And it'd be awesome because then you can actually use the actual Cheech and Chong versus like somebody in the future having to be like, I wish we could remake this, but we don't actually have them.
And now that it's legal, it'd be cool as hell to see them try to deal with that.
The theme song for Up in Smoke is called Up in Smoke. There's a newer version of Up in Smoke for 2018, now that weed's legal mostly everywhere. So he talks about how now that weed's legal, he still smokes about the same as much as he used to.
You know that show on Netflix, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
I haven't watched it, but I've seen the little thing for it.
Yeah, with Jerry Seinfeld. They should do a
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong getting weed in all the states that are legal. And then as the series continues, they just go to the states that newly legalize it.
Oh my god, somebody
Right.
call Netflix.
Make it a thing now.
Too many good ideas coming from this show right now. I'm telling you.
Where's our money, damn it?
After he gives him the vitamins, Alistair does jump in and Chong stays behind to keep an eye on the bong because he's going to destroy it in time for Alistair to make it out with everyone. Alistair goes into the strip club. Janet has a male stripper, which I thought was pretty cool. I was like, all right, that's good. They like tried for her. I thought she was dancing with Arnell.
At first, so did I, yeah.
I was like, damn, Arnell's got a rock hard abs.
No, I thought it was Brett, I think.
No, I thought it was Buck.
Oh, yeah.
They
it was
all
the
look
first
very
one.
similar.
So
Yeah.
the entire time you're in the bong world, you're looking into a
Like
portal.
that weird smoky film
Yeah,
around.
you're looking through the glass of the bong, yeah.
The movie does linger a lot. It's almost like they spent a lot of money on getting these strippers to be in it. Do you think there's a guild in cinema for getting people to just do the role of being strippers in movies?
I would guess these are not actual professional strippers.
I mean, did you see the way they were dancing on the pole? Those are not professional strippers.
We have a strip club in London here, London, Ontario, called The Beef, or we used to. They got closed down due to the pandemic bullshit and all that stuff. But it used to be the roughest strip club in London. You know, there'd be girls there that didn't know how to use the pole, like Trina says, and the girls there who might have recently had a C-section in like a month
Oh,
or two.
wow.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about that strip club, though, is that Tom Segura actually bashes that strip club in one of his specials.
So it's
Yeah,
popular.
yeah. It's hilarious.
It's well known, not for good reasons.
Well, hey, that girl with the C-section, at least she's out there working.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
She's doing her
Hey,
thing.
at least somebody, you do what you gotta do, girl.
Like these girls. I guess we should describe what they were wearing. The first girl was wearing a bra that Bach jokingly says, oh, emo boobs? Nice.
Goth boobs.
Goth
yeah.
boobs.
Goth
I kept saying
boobs.
emo boobs. Yeah, goth boobs. And it's literally just skulls with vampire teeth. The second one was a set of sharks. Arnell calls them Nemo.
Yes.
Nemo. Yeah, he's like, this feels so weird. And then he like is like sticking his hands in the mouth of the shark, and then all of a sudden they like start like munching on his hand. And like I wanted to use the word nomming because you can see that it's literally a hand puppet through the side, like, the inside of a bra, going num 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 on his hand. It is the funniest shit ever.
They legit
Yeah.
picked those shark toys that you could move with
Yeah.
your hands for that exact reason.
And then the third set is a set of lips. Brett earlier in the film talks shit about a girl from high school. They're talking about there's no such thing as a bad blowjob. And
Yeah.
Brett's like, no, there is. There was this girl in high school who was nothing but teeth. It was the worst thing ever. And so the stripper who's in the bong world is this girl from high school. She's like, do you remember when you used to talk about my blowjobs, Brett? It off screen goes to like give him a blowjob from her boobs, but then he screams in agony and you can assume the teeth came back.
It's interesting because it's like, wow, you look really good now. And it's like that typical like high school retribution, like you hated me in high school, but now you're going to be all nice to me because I'm hot now. But at the same time, I don't understand how she gets there in the frickin' first place. I guess it's a fantasy world, but at the same time, they're making it like an actual world where they're getting trapped in this body of like this bong, right? So like, did she smoke from the bong somehow?
No, I think what it is like the bong makes her his stripper because, you know, he brought her up for a reason. So obviously he still thinks about her probably, like, you know what I mean? Perhaps the bong kind of read into that. I was like, we remember her, so now you have to stay 'cause you know you want to see what she's got, right?
That's true. I don't think she was one of the strippers that we saw in the
Not in the
background up
first-
until this
yeah.
point. So Chong or Jimbo, we keep saying Chong, but Jimbo.
It's Chong.
It's Chong, yeah. It's basically him playing himself. He talks about how his wife made him get rid of the bong. His wife also made him get rid of his Hot Wheels collection. And that hit me straight in the heart. My wife didn't make me get rid of my Hot Wheels collection, but when I was younger, I would not let my dad go for one thing he did. He's probably rolling in his grave, hating me and screaming at me right now. When I was younger, I was a kid. We had moved neighborhoods. We had put all the toys in a bag. I had a huge Hot Wheels collection, and those bags were still downstairs. I guess one day he's like, well, they haven't come down for these. They probably don't want them anymore, and just threw out bagfuls of toys, including all of my Hot Wheels. When Chong said that, I was like, I know how you feel, Jimbo. I know how it feels.
Just
I
resonated with you.
I didn't get a strip club in the end though, with
Oh.
Hot Wheels.
A strip club with Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
If not, there's another $1 million idea.
Yeah, that's true. Essentially, Jimbo tells Alistair that the only way to save Janet is to go in and get her, and then he teaches him how to smoke, which I thought was funny.
You inhale,
It's
bro.
cute.
You don't exhale.
Yeah.
It made you feel like you really want to smoke with Tommy Chong at some point in your life.
Because that's actually what he's like when he smokes with people. If you ever watch his TikTok, it's hilarious.
Aw.
While Alistair enters the Bong realm, Jimbo has brought a hammer to try and destroy Evil Bong. They're having an interaction basically saying like, you couldn't destroy me back then, you're not going to destroy me now. And it's, again, another weird special effect in this film that you think they probably spent all their budget on, that when he does try to hit the Bong with a hammer, a force field kind of appears off her.
Yeah.
That's what I need. I need a bong force field to protect all my bongs.
One that can take a chainsaw, like what Chang tries right after that.
Yep.
Where was he holding that is what I want to know. Because he did not bring that big of a bag.
Maybe Chang was already high and didn't know it. And EB just distracted him long enough to have Alistair trapped in the bong.
Well, he keeps saying that he has built a resistance to whatever she's pumping out.
He's just like, yeah, no, man, I built a tolerance, man. I really had hope for Chang. I thought he truly had built that tolerance because he was fighting hard.
it.
He goes in there and he's like, oh, no, man, I couldn't, man. She's got some new shit. I couldn't deal with it.
That DC bud, man.
While that's happening, Alistair is fighting for Janet. Oh my god, my laptop just turned on again.
Oh, good.
Demon.
Work heard that you're talking about weed.
It did. It really did. It turned on the camera and everything.
Oh, wow.
It's legal in Illinois.
It is.
Grow up.
While Alistair is in there, the Bong has the strippers try and seduce him, and he's also trying to resist. They're kind of having the same moment. While Jimbo's trying to resist the weed, Alistair's trying to resist the strippers. He eventually is able to fight them off and get Janet, forces her to take a vitamin by telling her breath stinks, that she needs mint. We get this exchange with Bill Mosley, who Eric had to point out to me because I did not recognize him.
If you don't know who Bill Mosley is, he's Chop Top and famous for a bunch of other roles.
I
but-
believe he's in House of a Thousand Corpses as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Otis Driftwood from House of 1,000 Corpses and Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, he had to tell me who Bill Mosley was too, because I'm just like, Mr. Mosby? Wrong.
Yeah, he looks real slick in this.
Yeah, in all the other roles, he's always looking crazy. That's probably why I didn't recognize him.
You can hear his personality though when
A
he
little bit.
threatens Alistair. He talks almost in like Chop Top, I'm gonna kill you voice.
Yeah, I heard that. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Which is so surprising to me that this film has Chong and Bill Mosley in it. Like, they also spend their entire budget on that.
Yeah.
They had that third guy in there.
He's one of Charles Band's original movie characters. The guy in the trench coat, the old guy.
Yeah.
Fun fact I actually forgot to mention, we're recording this today on Friday the 12th November, right? I think it's Bill Mosley's birthday today.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for letting us
Yeah.
know. He's
Absolutely.
actually going to be at this event here in Chicago on the 19th, and we might stop by.
Oh, that'd be so awesome to see
Yeah.
him.
So it turns out his birthday was yesterday, the 11th.
Either way, happy belated birthday.
It is interesting that he's been in like 2 movies that I've watched recently and didn't realize that his birthday was coming up.
Yeah.
But after the interaction with him, Jimbo walks in and they realize that he could not fight off the evil Bong. However, he has brought a dynamite into the Bong realm.
Strapped to his chest.
He's just gonna blow up the whole building? What is happening?
It's an interesting choice.
I like how the post-explosion damage is just like that cartoony black tar on his chest.
But Alistair and Janet are able to make it out before he blows it up. And all of their friends have also survived, which again makes it not that much horror. Pretty low stakes if everyone survives.
It's just a bad nightmare.
They all just make a comment, again, totally unfazed that someone died. They're like, oh, Jimbo's sacrificed himself. He's in a better place now.
I
Yeah.
mean, they could have left Luann down there and I would have been happy. Just one.
Honestly, they could have just all stayed dead and I'd been happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jimbo should have made it out. But I like his punchline at the end, so I'll keep that one. I wonder if he's in the sequels. Do you guys know?
I do
Looked like
believe
it.
he shows up for the second one. I'm not sure about the rest of them.
Because we watched the trailer for the second one and it looked
Yeah,
like
because
he
the
was in
trailer
it.
shows up in the credits of the first one.
Yeah.
We saw that, and I
Trailer
thought,
where you-
like, did they just had the sequels already planned out and filmed before they even released the first one?
They must have.
It's Full Moon Productions. I wouldn't doubt it.
I think Alistair's a completely different actor, and I was like, is
Yep.
this a blooper reel, but they got a different actor for Alistair?
I thought maybe they're saying that Evil Bong that we just watched was like a real life thing, and they're showing us now that they turned it into a movie.
Yeah, one of those.
Chang, once he is the leader of the Bong world because he's killed the evil Bong, EB, I believe is the Bong's name.
Yes.
He makes a joke because the girls are like, now that you're the leader, what do you want? And he's like, I want to play with, and you think he's going to say something perverted.
Mhm.
And he's like, my Hot Wheels. And he pulls out a bunch of toy cars and starts playing with them on the girls' chests and their shoulders. We were dying at the end because I don't know if you caught, he's like, oh, what? We're going to crash into a bush. And he's starting to push the Hot Wheel down to her crotch.
I didn't catch that, but I did catch him going, oh, there's a mountain. Oh, there's another mountain. He's like going over the boobs. And I'm just like, oh my god, he's in his glory right now.
That's what made me call back to him being like the owner of a strip club. I was like, I wonder if he had those kind of moments some nights where it's slow. It was like, who wants to play with my Hot Wheels?
Yeah, that's how you get sued.
Possibly.
In the real world.
At what point do you go to Chang's strip club and go for Chang, not the strip club?
Well, he became famous afterwards, right?
Yeah.
But did he keep it after he got famous?
Oh, I don't think so.
He
I think basically I think once bikers kind of moved into the territory, he was kind of like, I'm gonna get out of this before I get hurt.
Oh man,
Oh,
a
gotcha.
hookah strip joint.
There you go.
There it is. That's my new copyright. That's my new business.
There used to be Crazy Joe's in London here that was basically a hookah joint, but you couldn't smoke weed there. It was just what was that stuff
Shisha.
called? Shisha. Yeah, you can only smoke shisha there.
Never heard of
Is that-
shisha.
It's like flavored tobacco, I think.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's very popular in like the Middle East and stuff like that.
You think?
Yeah, it's very popular in Hindu culture. It's just a flavored tobacco. You can get a bunch of different flavors. You used to be able to get it at Rock Universe. I don't know if you still can anymore, but like it comes in like a brick and it's like just flavored tobacco.
Okay. As marijuana connoisseurs yourselves, were you guys heavily impressed by EB, the Evil Bong?
It was kind of weird because Trina noticed it right off the hop that the neck of it is where you would normally suck out your smoke from, but then there's all these hoses, and it's like, how does that work?
That bothered me. It bothered me a lot because I'm just like, okay, it
Too much
has a
airflow.
chamber like a bong, but it has hookah hoses, and that's not how a hookah is supposed to be designed. So technically, when they light that, all of it would go up the chamber. I mean, unless they were sucking on the hose. So I guess it could be multi.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I said. I was like,
Because
that's
like
a
if
weird
you
design.
smoke from the hoses right as you're lighting it, it doesn't have time to go up the chamber. It's going out the airflow where you're pulling from,
guess
right?
I guess it could be a multi-purpose thing because you could plug the hoses into the side of it or something.
Yeah, because it looks
And then
like
use the
it
top
folds
of it.
around and it can go like, so you could probably use it either way.
We saw the
How about-
hoses too, and we're like, that looks more like a hookah. But we were like, we don't know anything about bongs, so
Yeah, I was like, that kind
A
of doesn't
normal-
look right, but
A normal hookah would have like a big bowl on the top and then it kind of comes down and then it has the hoses versus like that was like an actual bong with hoses. So it's like a hookah bong.
I just feel like they put the hoses on it to make it look more menacing, like it had like tentacles and like weird things coming out of it, right? Rather than just a bong.
But you never
Yeah.
see them hit it like an actual bong. It's always hookah tokes.
They don't even fill it with water.
No, they don't. They don't put water in it at all.
Dry ass. Constantly fills with clean
Also,
water.
the thing that
Oh.
I questioned was you hear it's either Lornell or Brent say the name of the bong and it's EB, but how do they learn her name? Like that's never
Maybe-
brought up.
Maybe Arnell's the one that just names it EB.
I don't know. Like I said, this was a very disorganized movie where it's like they wanted to do so many things that they forgot to do other things,
The other thing I noticed was that Arnell's character, after EB started to kill his friends, every time he would appear, he was almost like a menacing presence. They would zoom in on his face and he'd get really like serious and start talking in a certain tone. And I thought that Arnell was going to be like hypnotized by the bong and kill his friends.
There's a lot of things they could have done better, I think.
When I first suggested this movie, I had no idea it had involved strippers and involved like a bong world. I thought if anything, it was gonna like the people who smoke from the bong were gonna turn like deadites from Evil Dead. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
But the stripper thing, I was like, oh, okay, that's different.
Actually, I think if you read the description very well, it does say something about killer strippers.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't read the description. I only saw
Yeah.
the Evil Bong. I was like, oh, that's cool.
we didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, exactly.
The minute we got like partway through the movie, he's just like, oh boy. And I'm like, we're gonna really have to apologize to them because this is a lot to sit through.
No.
That's okay. I mean, I apologize to the listeners if they do end up going to check it out because it's bad. Do you guys want to rate it?
I'm
I'm gonna give it a 2.
sticking at a 2.
Maybe even.
I might give it 2.5 because Tommy Chong really does make it good. Like when he came into the movie, I was like, oh, this is actually like better now.
I was
Yeah.
actually upset
Yeah.
he took so long to come out. 'Cause once he was in it, it was worth it.
Well, it was like last 20 minutes or something like that.
I was afraid that he would come in and then get killed off right away, like something stupid, right? I was like, he's here, and then
Yeah,
gone.
at least he was an actual character versus just a little pop in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this movie's hilarious. It's definitely not scary. There's very minimal gore, if any. It's just a little blood spatter here and there. I'm gonna give it a 2, but I did like that Chang's in it and Bill Mosley's in it, and that saves the entire movie.
I'm also gonna give it a 2. Not scary. It's not good. It's just a lot of story that you don't care
Doesn't
about
need to be there.
and are forced to watch just to get to the best part, which is Tommy Chong.
Should we talk about what scared Loki about this movie?
What scared Loki?
I don't think he was scared by this movie at all. This isn't fair.
He was not impressed.
Do you want to tell us about it, Loki? Sounds good. We'll try to watch something that will actually scare you next time. Unless you liked this relaxing content.
There's CBD for dogs.
There is.
Yeah.
There's tons of TikToks, though, of dogs accidentally getting into something and then they're
Right.
just out of it all day. It's pretty
Well,
funny.
there's even a joke in Up in Smoke where he talks about how they're smoking some Maui Wowie with a little bit of Labrador. He's like, what's Labrador? He's like, well, my dog ate my stash. So I had to follow him around for about a week with a little baggie.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
What's funny about that though is I say the same thing, but it's because our dog is a lab and she literally gets her hair in everything. So like when I go to take a toke, I'll have to like pull out some of her hair. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, this dog's hair is everywhere. So I'm like, it's a little bit of Maui Wowie with a bit of Labrador in it.
To close out the show, is there anything you guys want to plug?
But yeah, you can follow us at Twitter. We're always Room for More Pod. We're a podcast that gets high and talks random crazy shit.
Our Twitter's always more pod.
You can find us on Facebook at Always Room for More Podcast. Also on Instagram with the same name. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty much all we're
pretty
doing.
much find us on all the social medias. Also have our email at alwaysroomformorepodcast@gmail.com. So if they want to actually get in touch with us or talk to us like
Give
more
us, strain
like
ideas.
one-on-one, they can do that.
Nice.
Awesome. We loved having you guys on. I hope you guys can come back on again for some more B through Z movies.
There's quite a few Evil Bong movies that we could get through.
We'll have to revisit a couple of these. And also knowing that Vivi's never seen Clerks,
We got stuff to watch now.
we're going to have to get you on ours and talk about that one or something.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I know what we're doing right after this.
We're watching. Well, that is pretty much it here for us. You can follow us pretty much anywhere at Shaken Not Scared Pod, except Twitter. Twitter is Shaken Scared Pod. You can send us an email at shakennotScaredPod@gmail.com.
You can support the show on Patreon. We'll name our next drink after you with mentions on our website where the drink page will live forever. You can listen to us on all your favorite podcasting sites, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, a bunch of others. Give us a listen, give us a follow, throw Loki a CBD treat, stay on brand.
Be sure to like, rate, review, all that good stuff. And okay, thanks. Bye.
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 Bye.